Hi, good day, everyone. Welcome to our fifth part of the characteristics of global leaders to whom I had the chance to work with or have met. Today, I'm going to talk about or share some of my thoughts about Dr. or Professor Neil Ferguson. Here it is. This is his name, phonetically translated. And these are some of his books to which Dr. Ferguson had written. Now, I didn't know there were so many. When I first met him, he just wrote his, I think it was second or third book. It was The Accent of Money. And I had the good fortunes to invite Dr. Ferguson to come to HK to speak on the subject about the global economy. And what did I learn from my experience of meeting with Dr. or Professor Neil Ferguson? And what did I learn from him, simply speaking? Well, I learned that in order to be a leader, you need to be right here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. This is the right one right here. You need to be forgiving or you need to lead with forgiveness. Why am I saying this? Well, this is a story. Uh Dr. Ferguson was supposed to be in HK over a weekend. And so he and I booked his a plane ticket itinerary, but unfortunately, I didn't look at the last email to which the itinerary had changed. And so what happened was on the day that he departed, it was around I think 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Now this is HK time in the morning, and something woke me up. I mean, normally I don't wake up in the middle of the night, but something woke me up. And I said, okay, while I am up, and since I can't sleep, so I checked my emails. And when I checked my emails, Dr. Ferguson said he has arrived in New York. I said, okay, great. And then as I scrolled down the email, I realized, oh my goodness, he is supposed to fly to San Francisco from Boston. Now, Boston to San Francisco is about 4.5, 5 hours. But Boston to New York, it's only about, I think, what, 45 to an hour? And so he thought that he was supposed to go to New York and he would have a layover of maybe 4 or 5 hours to catch the next plane out of New York to HK. So he had a meeting. He told me he had a meeting. I couldn't remember. What was it with Henry Kissinger? Oh my goodness. Or the mayor of New York, which was I think Bloomberg back then. I can't remember, but if the meeting was with Henry Kissinger, oh my goodness, he would have probably killed me. But in any event, and so I gave him a call. I said, "Oh my goodness, where are you, sir?" And he said, "Tommy, I am in New York." I said, "Oh my God, please, I made a mistake, sir. I flew you to the wrong city." Yeah, dummy me, man. Dummy me. I said, "Sir, please, Dr. Ferguson, get on a taxi. go over to, I think it was LaGuardia, catch the next plane, get your butt over to San Francisco and get on the first available first class. We'll pay for it, of course. Oh my goodness, said, he did. He took a taxi, I think from LaGuardia, I don't know, to the airports. I can't remember the airport's name. I think then he went to LaGuardia, caught the first available plane to SF, and took a first class flight, and then we were glad to pay for that to San Francisco. And when he was in when that's San Francisco to HK, and this is a photo I had with him. Notice I had my hand on his back because I felt so bad, ladies and gentlemen. It was a big mistake. Was it a detrimental mistake? It could have been. It could have been. Had he not made it to HK on time, I think my clients would have crucified me. Yeah, upside down. Add to that. And so, what was Dr. Ferguson mad at me? Oh no, he wasn't mad at me at all. Nice gentleman. He forgave me. He said, don't even mention it. And so, we took this photo as isn't as a memento? Not a memento, but as a remembrance to what had happened. But he did made me wait for 1 hour in this cafe. Yeah, it was the Hyatt Regency, but that's fine. I mean, I make this man fly all the way to New York. He missed his meeting with, I think, Bloomberg or Dr. Henry Kissinger. My goodness, Google who Dr. Henry Kissinger is. But he wasn't mad at all. I mean, he was just such a gentleman. He forgave me. I think, in fact, maybe he even gave me a box of chocolate. No, that was just a joke. He didn't give me anything, but just his presence, to have been able to talk with him, uh, it was an honor. And he's a very charismatic individual, very honest, very polite. Just on the side, even though this topic is about characteristic of a global leader, I asked him an honest question. I said, do you ever think you will win the Nobel Prize in economics? And he basically said he doesn't believe he'll ever win it. And I said, why? I mean, come on, you teach at Harvard. You are the professor of history and economics. Why wouldn't you win? He said, well, it's hard to win a prize in economics, especially the Nobel Prize, if you are a tweener. Meaning what? Meaning you teach history and you teach economics. However, we don't know. He was honest about it, but we don't know. So we don't know. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, right? Uh, the requirements might change. But in any event, though, he didn't even mention anything about about missing his appointment with Bloomberg or Kissinger. He just went about his normal business and finished his keynote, his meeting. Then he went back. And so, what did I learn from this experience? What did I learn from Professor Ferguson? Well, again, I learned you need to forgive. As a leader, as a parent, even as a student, people will offend you. Man, people will offend you. They will say things to which they will regret, but you won't forgive. But it is much more beneficial for you to forgive and forget than to harbor it in your heart, because it will only hurt yourself. And you will probably miss out on more opportunities, or perhaps if it's business, and you will lose a friend maybe if you don't learn how to forgive. People say, oh, it is difficult to forgive. Well, because you have a good memory. if you start forgetting about it, don't dwell on that situation to which you have been hurt, and it will be a lot easier. The reason we can't forgive at times because we keep dwelling and dwelling and dwelling on what had happened instead of forget about what had happened. Life continues. Moves on. Life doesn't wait for you. Why keep dwelling on the past when the world keeps spinning and continue to progress forward? That's what I have learned from Dr. Ferguson. And so, am I a forgiving person? Yes, I am. Uh, some of my staffs, one I just use one as an example. She was always late, always late, always making excuses. Sometimes she doesn't come to work because she's sick, and it's always the last minute thing. I understand. I understand. She has beginning stages of cancer. It was breast cancer, and so I had more tolerance. I had more tolerance on her, but I have fired her 4 times. I had to because it was a bad influence on my other staffs. But what happened? I rehire her again and giving her opportunities. But some of you might say, well, Tom, this is condoning. Well, yes, I agree. There is a thin line between condoning and forgiving. And sometimes I might have crossed that line. I might have. But overall, I believe that if I forgive somebody, and not just based on my feeling, perhaps, but based on the circumstances that I look at, uh, I believe I'm not condoning because, yes, I understand she has cancer. She was on medication. So I have to be a little bit more tolerant. But I cannot rationalize it. And I'm not going to rationalize it because if I start rationalizing, it could turn into condoning, to which we should not be doing. If you know your son is stealing, you got to let him know. You got to talk to him. If he steals again, you got to talk to him, but you got to forgive him. But if he keeps stealing again and you just keep talking to him and say, okay, don't do it next time, that's condoning. You got to draw a line somewhere. But you must start with what? You must start with forgiving. I hope this has helped you to be able to be a better parent, to be able to better handle your workplace leadership difficulties. And for students, I hope this has helped you to not lose your friends. Lifetime friendship, it's hard to come by nowadays. And usually, good friends starts the friendship when they're young. Anyway, take care, God bless, and see you at the next series. Bye now.